clients and I'm having difficulty reaching those future clients. That's specifically, we are going to specifically within marketing in this class, we're going to be talking about how to reach clients, but also how to reach staff as well. So I'm going to be showing hairdressers and salon owners how to use Instagram in a more impactful way. You've probably heard me talk about this in some other classes, but I've never actually done it in an interactive fashion where I'd be like, okay, let's all do this together. Let's walk you through it. Let's answer questions. And so I really want to be able to take a step back and do that. So you said also scheduling into my schedule of manageable chunks. I struggle with finding hooks. Imposter syndrome. Ooh, imposter syndrome is a huge one. When giving hairstylists tips and hair care, struggling doing engaging posts. Absolutely. These are great answers, y'all. I know they feel daunting, but they are great answers. One of the first things that I look at when I do like an Instagram audit, or I go and kind of even looking at my own business, just to give you a backstory, Destroy the Hairdresser was truly built off of some of the things that I'm going to talk about today because they still work today, but through pure natural marketing and using social media to not only reach the masses of hairdressers that we want to talk to, but also David and myself were able to use social media to build our entire clientele in multiple different cities, over and over and over again with multiple different price points. We constantly were raising our prices like we tell you all to do. And so that also took a little bit of coming from a place of, okay, we need to figure out how to remarket in this next bracket that we're trying to advance ourselves in. So what does that look like? Someone said one of the things that comes up, and before I go into this again, because there's a lot of new faces, if you go through your Destroy the Hairdresser dashboard, and I can't specifically tell you where it is because we just started to really reform the dashboard, but it should be under social media in supported material. And I did 3 classes last semester that are like the core of my social media foundations classes. Not only did you learn about the algorithm, then you learned how to organize your content, how to create content, and then how to repurpose your content. And that is like my formula through everything. So I'm kind of looking at a lot of you of like, you've already watched that. So what I'm about to tell you is like, okay, now I'm posting the things, I'm doing the things. Now I'm going to, how do I bring people to see what I'm posting? Because I think that's the biggest struggle is people are like, I'm posting things, but no one's seeing it. Like no one's viewing it. They're not going viral. I do want to remind everyone, going viral is not the goal. It is very nice sometimes, but with that virality isn't always the people that you want to have. A lot of my TikToks have blown up and gone viral, and I would say a very small percentage of the people that are viewing those, even though they got high view numbers, were hairdressers that I want in my program. So yeah, it's great to have that number, but like at what cost, right? Like what did it really do? So remember that that's not the goal. What I want everyone to truly understand, like once we're starting to have that consistency and however we're deciding to show up on our platforms, I have a very type A personality. I'm going to show up hard and in full fight mode on social media. And that does benefit playing around with the algorithm. But in being the emotional intelligence coach that I am, that is not always sustainable for everyone. And it's not everyone has the vessel size to do that, right? Like you have to build up to that. I had to build my own social media vessel up to being able to post in the capacity that I wanted. So I highly suggest everyone that is like, okay, I know what to do, but I don't know how to do it. Like just start, find your rhythm. But what we're really going to talk about today is how do we get people to view that content so that they actually engage with us, they become followers. I know there's a lot of students that were followers of me first, would talk to me on the social platforms, and then eventually became a student. And clients that happen with me with clients too. Kat's going like this. Was that one of you? I know Shannon was one too. Talked to me for a long time in the DMs, but that's okay. That's what we want, right? We don't want to push these people away. We really want to get really comfortable with creating relationships. That is what social media is made for, to create community. Somehow that has got lost into, I'm going to say really crappy things to people on the internet and hope that it doesn't break them on the other side. But something I'm really trying to do is like, okay, let's bring back that community. So one of the first things that you really have to figure out, and this should be really present in your bio, but like, who are you and who are you talking to? I think the biggest thing that gets lost all the time is not understanding who you're talking to. And I want to make it really clear, you don't need separate accounts to talk to separate people. You can absolutely be a salon owner that is a hairdresser and talking to clients in one post and in another post talking to hairdressers. You just have to have that consistency with who you're talking about. I know my clients love watching me teach. They love watching me coach. I talk about it behind the chair. They know that that's something that I do. So when they see these things, it almost makes like, they get really proud of me. They're like, I see all the work you're doing and I see that Destroy the Hairdresser's growing and like, this is really cool. So salon owners, don't minimize the power of the support of your clients if you are still actively doing hair to support those conversations. Like, I even have clients be like, oh, you said something about leadership the other day and it helped me in my own job. I'm like, cool, love it. So it's okay to talk about multiple things, but you have to decide who you're talking to. Also know the more that you talk to that audience, the more that you're going to attract that audience. I used to say this all the time with like, we don't want to do haircuts anymore, stop posting your haircuts. If you don't want to do fashion colors anymore, stop posting them. And one of the fights back would be, well, I'm not having clients to do it. If you took my repurposing class, you know that you can take one video and split it up into 10,000 things and have buku's amounts of content. But who are you talking to? So I'd love for you to write in the chat who specifically you are talking to. And before anybody starts typing, I want you to be very specific. Like, I want to know who your client is, the age group, the marker, the kind of hair you want to work with. I want to know what is your specialty, all of those things. And if you're a hairdresser and a salon owner, I also want to know the kind of clientele or staff you're looking for. So take a second and write that for me. Who are you talking to? It's also okay for you to say, I don't know. I most likely will, if we have time, answer in the back end of the class, but I will also probably direct you to your coach to really help you solidify. And honestly, you should go back to your coach anyways and be like, okay, how do I really streamline who I'm talking to? Like, all of the coaches have incredible social media platforms and can help you identify that as well. Susan said, I'm mainly focused on finding stylists at this time. That's great. Sometimes I'm not talking to anyone, just use my Instagram to express myself and feel the right people find me. I love that moment too. I've asked people in my comments that bluntly, like, they keep showing up in my comments and disagreeing with me. I've publicly said, like, it's okay to unfollow me, like, if I'm upsetting you with what I'm saying. I feel like that's a lot of energy to argue with people in comments constantly. Who else? Does anybody not know who they're talking to? Shannon said women identifying between 30, whatever that, like, go against the grain in society. Love that. They want short hair. I full-heartedly think there's a whole market for short hair. When I had like half a shaved head, like, I was so specific on who I went to see because I wanted to make sure I was really talking to someone that could help me get the hair that I wanted. And a safe place for those women, queer kids who want cuts too. I love that. Fun, artsy clients that want fun hair. Kat said, talking to those typical Colorado active women that lived in color and want extensions. I love it. Also wanting to talk to stylists that I start the hiring process. Love this. It sounds like you all are pretty clear. Like, as I'm reading through this, you all have very descriptive identities of the clientele that you're looking for. I think the biggest thing is like, it's almost like how we're like shooting a beam into space, hoping that someone responds. Sometimes it feels like that on Instagram. Like, we're just like, hope you find me ideal client. Hope you find me perfect stylist that I know would love to work for me. And it gets really daunting and overwhelming because it really feels like a waiting game. Hold on, this one's really good too. I'm talking to 20s and up, maybe they have a different job and they have a lot of texture and want to show their full potential, and maybe they love their vivids, want cool hair. That's my thing too. I try to show myself and they're hopefully seeing it. Yeah, absolutely. So one, when you're creating the content, talking to that specific person, saying like, you could bluntly even say like, I'm looking for clients that love to have fun. You could show more examples of your clientele in your chair that is your ideal clientele. Like you could really get creative on talking to those people, right? If you were that person, what would you want to hear from a stylist? So that's one when it comes to marketing, is putting out what you want to attract back in and making sure it's very clear, making sure that it is very specialized, and making sure that you are actively showing that as much as possible. Now, the next thing, and this is where we're going to start to use our phones. I talk about this a lot, and you've probably heard me if you're a longtime student. I've talked about staying on the right side of Instagram. And as easy as it is to talk about it, it is a very restrictive process. Like you have to actively practice restriction in staying on the right side of Instagram. This is setting an entirely huge boundary with how you use social media. And I think specifically, we've all used social media in different ways. I would say millennials were the first to really start to use it in a really proactive way for businesses. And a lot of Gen Z that are in certain fields are now starting to use it for business in a different way. But no one's ever actually taught us how to use these platforms that we escape to, but also use as daily tools to run our business, also use to connect with friends, also use to connect with family. It has so many different layers, right? And how do you separate that? Because that's something that I hear all the time. My students are like, I'll go to post, and next thing you know, I'm like in a doom scroll for 2 hours on TikTok being like, what am I even looking at? So it's really important to set extremely clear boundaries with how you're going to use these platforms. I know for me, like when I am working, like my work hours, I'm only using it in a work consciousness. Like when I actually get to scroll and look at stupid things, it's like far and few, but it is set up like after my working hours. Like when I'm laying on the couch with my wife, we're doing nothing, like truly zoning out. Like I'm like, okay, now I can like not work. But if you don't have those boundaries set up, all of what we're going to talk about today is going to feel incredibly overwhelming, because what I'm going to show you and have you do is something that I want you to actively build into your social media work schedule. If, again, you don't have those boundaries where you're treating specifically Instagram like a job, because it is part of your job description now, it can become, you're going to have imposter syndrome. You're going to get burnt out. You're going to get overwhelmed. You're going to shut down. You're going to stop posting. All of these things are going to happen. So back to staying on the right side of Instagram, it's truly staying within your bubble of engagement. So it means not scrolling and seeing what everyone's doing today. I have notifications on for the people that I need to see on a daily basis. Like I want to support my students. I want to support my team. So I have their little notifications on, and if you don't know how to do that, I can tell you, but I have the little notifications on. So anytime all of them post, it pings me and I go like it. But other than that, if I had to rely on scrolling, I would never see what my team posts, because I'm not doing it during the working hours. So what I am doing and how I am using my platform during the time that I'm working is, one, I have set up systems of scheduling, or I know at least what I want to post. And Susan, I see your question. I'm going to do a Q&A at the end, so please make sure I don't lose that, because I would love to show you. So all of this stuff is kind of happening. So what I am spending my time doing is responding to comments, making sure that I am responding to my DMs, and truly using it as an engagement platform. Like, oh my God, someone unmuted and it scared me so bad. I heard noise in my ear. Okay. So coming from a place of like, okay, now I can use my time to go out and find people rather than waiting for people to come in. So what I'm going to talk about is external engagement. You've probably heard me talk about this 1,000,002 times, but we're actually going to do it together. I would love to know how many of you know about external engagement. And if you do, I want you to be very honest. Do you do it every day? please write that in the chat. I know a lot of my future proofs and coaches are going to say yes, but do you do it every day? I love the honesty. I know how. I probably only do it once or twice a week. Yes, I know I don't do it every day. Thank you for being honest. I'm going to take what I've taught in the past about external engagement to another level because it's okay. I was kind of hoping someone said no. Okay, perfect. I'm going to show you different ways because Instagram keeps updating. So like the original way that I taught this isn't necessarily even like fully beneficial anymore. And I think that not following hashtags is a really big missed opportunity, specifically in your area. So I am going to ask you all to pick up your phones and go to Instagram. And let's turn the sound off because I have a feeling my phone is going to start showing someone's story. And one of the first things that I do, again, I use this a little differently because I'm trying to find hairdressers all over the world. So I'll kind of explain how I use that in hashtag form. But one of the first things that I want to do is find people that are in my location, right? So I want you to go in your search bar, hit search, and at the top, there's a little search bar that you can type in. And I want you to type in, I don't want you to do like, if you're in a big city, I don't want like, let's say you're in New York City, I don't want you to do New York City. I want you to do like zoom in, like do smaller, right? Because we're going to broaden out like mile by mile, right? So for example, I live in Chicago, but if I really wanted to like take that down from the whole city of Chicago, maybe I would do like West Loop, okay? And once that comes up, I'm going to hit search. And it's going to give you the option. It's going to say for you, accounts, audio, or tags. And you want to hit tags, okay? I'm going to pause there. And I have a lot of people with video on, so if you're with me and to that point, give me a thumbs up. Okay, you've put your location in, awesome. So click one of those tags. There are literally I'm looking, there's like at least 100 tags, right? So these are all people non-specific to hair that live in my area that I have a potential to connect with. So we're talking specifically about connecting to clients. So I'm going to just click the top one for the sake of this conversation. And it is going to show so many things. It is going to show reels. It's going to show a lot of influencers. Do not minimize liking an Instagram or influencer's page, but it's going to show everyone that's used that tag. So something that I might do is follow that tag. You see the follow button at the top? I'm so sorry if you hear excessive beeping outside. Perks of living in the city. I want you to follow that. I want you to go through and follow as many of those hashtags, don't go wild, but as many of those hashtags that you feel like specifically your clientele would live in. So a lot of you were talking about specific clientele that go to certain places. I think, Kat, you were talking about like fitness. So you could type in like, I don't know where you are, Colorado, right? Type in like Colorado gym as a hashtag and follow it. So you want to start to get really specific on these location-based hashtags and follow them. Once you follow them, what's going to happen is they start to show up in your feed as you do scroll. What's awesome about this is that I'm effortlessly, like it'll pop up and I'll be like, who the hell is that? And I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm following this tag. Now I'm going to go like that and engage with them. People get really hung up on this next process. Like, yes, liking is the most important part, but like, I'm not going to stop. Like if I see someone talking about something, or maybe they are, maybe it's a gym girly and I'm like, I really like your shoes. Where did you get them? Like, even if I don't care about the shoes, it's a great way to start a conversation with someone that I know should be my clientele, because what's the first thing that they're going to go do? They're going to go look at your profile. And I cannot tell you how many times I have done something like this of like, your dog's really cute, or I love like the bun in your hair, or, you know, whatever the silly comment that I want to write to this person, this complete stranger. They go and they look at my page, and then all of a sudden I have a DM and be like, I've been looking for a new bonding specialist. Like, I'm so glad that you just showed up in my comments. I have built my entire clientele that way. It takes time, but this is an active way for people to come back and follow you. What's great about this is by following these hashtags, you have an opportunity to truly be able to be connected to your entire community in your area. It can become overwhelming. That's why I said be very choosy and specific about the hashtags you follow with complete strangers. You can also unfollow them and follow different tags. If you are a salon owner, I would do the same, your location plus hair cutter, plus colorist, plus blonding specialist, plus texture specialist. Like, what staff are you looking for? Because now you're going to be shown an entire group of people in your area, in your location, that are hairdressers, specifically to a specialty that you are looking for to hire in your business. And now you have an opportunity to stay connected to everyone that uses that tag. If you don't want to follow that tag, you could also just go through daily, because people are constantly using this hashtag, and like pictures, comment on them, be really aggressive about it. I used to say you should try to like anywhere from 50 to 100 like posts a day. I mean, you could do that. I could do that with my eyes closed. I could literally just do this and like pictures. But I do think that there should be more an intentional effort, like really looking like, yeah, you can like 100 pictures and have one person follow you, but I'd rather like 10 pictures and comment on those 10 pictures and really be specific on making connections. I will say, if you start liking hairdressers' pictures, I have had students tell me that the salon owner of that person or another stylist or something will be like, why is that salon owner liking my page? Remember the bigger mission, or liking my stylist page. Remember the bigger mission of what we're trying to create here at DTH, which is true community, true open door policies, removing that toxic I own my stylist behavior. It is okay if you are a salon owner to go talk to a hairdresser and make a connection, go out to coffee, have a hangout, or just follow and support each other online in your community. I mean, that is truly building community. And I cannot stress enough, do not be frightened by someone else's reactive system. Their reactive system does not determine you, your business, and they can't do anything to you. It's not a legality that you can't go comment on someone's page. And honestly, David and I joke all the time, we're like, let crazy show they're crazy, because as scary as it might seem that someone's yelling at you on the internet or saying bad things, people see that and they're like, this person is riddled in scarcity and fear and freaking out. So don't be scared. What did Universe say? Universe said, same Gabby, I'm still building an NYC out there every 3 months, and I'm finding it way more challenging than Bay Area. I missed the first part. There are so many people in NYC. But if I'd like to remind you, I built my clientele twice in 2 different parts of Brooklyn and in Manhattan. So it's completely possible using the same exact method. I honestly think that it's even better that there's so many people because in smaller towns, I have seen people be like, okay, I'm following a hashtag and it's not getting updated to the capacity that I need. So they're having to get creative. Okay. Let's say that happens. Let's say, Gabby, do you have who's your coach? Where is Gabby on the screen?
I'm with Ethan.
Oh, okay, perfect. Definitely talk to Ethan more about this. Like, I have some ideas around New York City, so I might, if I have time at the end, but if not, I might side message him to talk to you. Okay, let's go back. Shannon said, so you're saying follow hashtags in your area and like and comment and engage with them. The people that use the hashtags, yes. And really look at them like, okay, this looks like this person needs to be my client. Like, I'm going to comment on their page. I'm going to like them. Sometimes I've even followed them if I like actually am like, okay, you're really cool. Like, whether you're my client or not, I want to actually follow you. Like, sometimes that's good too. But the whole idea is like, you want to get them to follow you, because if you are doing all the other work that I've taught you for your brand, you've got them. Something's going to happen. If they're going to follow you, I mean, and David and I know firsthand, like, people be like, I've followed you for a year. I've been listening to your podcast. I finally came into coaching. There's time and space. Give it time and space. Just because you don't see results after liking 5 pictures doesn't mean in 3 months you're not going to be smacked with a bunch of people actually wanting to be in with you. Okay. Another thing that's really great, and is Sarah still here? No, she might have left. Okay, never mind. I was going to use her because she literally has a coffee shop right behind her salon, and it's a really popular coffee shop, and a lot of those people that work and go there come to her salon because they're so close. So this would be another great example. So the next thing I would do is I would type in, you could also do hashtags of like your location and coffee shops, right? Like that would be a great hashtag to look at. But let's actually look at a specific location. Can you think of your favorite coffee shop locally to you that's not a Starbucks? A smaller brand. Find them right now. Find them on Instagram. I'm going to type in mine, which is, if you're in Chicago, it's called Goddess and the Baker, and it is so good. Okay. Does everyone have that? Thumbs up? Perfect. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to their tagged pictures, right? And you are going to start to go through and look for your clients that have been there. I mean, I would say every single one of us have been guilty taking a picture of our coffee or our food at some point, tagging the coffee shop or using a hashtag of the coffee shop. And what you can start to do is be like, okay, that is my ideal client. I love that. They're cool. They're fun. They have edgy hair. I need them in my life. I'm going to like their picture and comment on it. This literally takes seconds. Like, there are so many businesses that have Instagrams on around you. I mean, I would say I am in a major city, but looking downstairs, there's probably like at least 20 in my site that I can find on Instagram. Click on the tag pictures and literally do that. You have maps. Use the maps on your phone. Look up restaurants. Go find their Instagram. Click on their tag pictures. And that's the thing too, it's like, don't just limit yourself to like a mile away, 500 feet away. Like, go broader. How far would you travel for a hairdresser to do your hair that was influential? I'd probably fly somewhere if they were that good. I had a lot of clients fly to me. I'm sure you have had clients drive hours to get to you before. So think about that too. Like, how can we broaden out? What's going to happen too? Don't minimize the power of a comment. That person that you commented on might not go for it, but one of their friends might. And that is huge, like huge missed opportunity. I know it seems like a lot to search for these, but something I would do is like, I'd be riding in the car, like we'd be going down the street to do whatever we're doing, right? I'm in an Uber because I didn't have a car till recently. And I would see a local business that's within walking distance from the salon that I worked at in New York City. And I would look up their Instagram and I would do this. And it took 2 seconds in a place where I wasn't even, like, it took no time. You just have to start being conscious of it. And I think this is the one missed opportunity. Like, a lot of people said they know how to do this, but they're not consciously thinking, I could be reaching out and pulling people to my page all day long. Honestly, that's why I really taught you all to schedule your posts, because not having to worry about the things that are going to lock people in to want to participate in your business are huge. Like, going out and finding people. I do this same method on TikTok. I'll type in like Chicago hairdressers because I'm looking for hairdressers, and go engage and comment on their videos if I like them, right? So especially if you're a salon owner, like, do not sleep on TikTok. I know this class was about Instagram, but do not sleep on TikTok, because a lot of hairstylists in your area are posting hair videos more so on TikTok than they are on Instagram. I'd love to open it up for questions. And I'd love to hear from someone that maybe knew about this method, but maybe learned something new. Yeah, I just want to open it up for conversation. We're a small enough group. I feel like if you want to raise your hand. Universe said something so good. I have many people hitting me up for employment now that have been watching for a long time. I've done so much external engagement around this, and it's really starting to pay off. Time and effect right there. It takes time. They got to get to know you. Who wants to work for someone right away? No, I want to follow you. I want to see what you're talking about. You're going to start to talk about how you have unlimited time off, or how you have an open door policy, and all of a sudden I'd be like, I'm not working for Universe. Like, that's going to happen. That's the best part. And if you've taken David's How to Hire a Hairdresser class, you know that one of the things that we tell you to do is send videos to hairstylists that you want to work for you. And I've had stylists say to, or students say to me, Sid, that's so uncomfortable. Like, I don't think that I have the capacity to do that. Like, I'm so frozen. And I'm like, your only other option is this, what I'm talking about right now, and being influential on your platform. If you do not have something for these people to come back to, if you're not doing your content, if you're not doing the effort that you need to do within your social media, do not do external engagement. It's going to be a waste of your time, and you're not going to see results, because you getting people to follow a page that you barely show up on is not going to be beneficial down the road. Okay, now I really want to open it up for questions. It is micro stalking, Gabby. Shh, don't call it that. It's external engagement. But yeah, okay, it's micro stalking. Now I said I'm getting more clients from TikTok lately. Yeah, we are too. Our submissions and student bodies have grown immensely since we've been posting at least 2 to 3 times a day, using our content from the podcast, which has been awesome. No one has a question? Ooh, Shay, I'm going to tell your coach. You can just unmute. Oh, Christina. Hi.
I don't have a question, but the class reminded me of like so many things that I just like slowly stopped doing. So
I'm
like
you
following the
you've been in this
hashtag.
program for so long. Like, you have learned this probably 10 times. Like
I mean, right now my focus is more hiring stylists, not finding clients. So I feel like I focus so heavily on like looking at stylists that I forget simple things like looking at hashtags for just like the coffee shops in our area and things like that. So it was a good reminder of like some of the smaller details that I've stopped doing that'll significantly help.
So even if you personally, like Christina has her Christina page, and then you have your salon page, your salon page should be looking for clients in this way. I mean, there's no reason that your salon page can't be liking pictures from people that are tagging a coffee shop, because you want to attract those to all of your clients, you know, versus you, who you're doing education, you're not really doing hair as much, you're really looking for hairdressers, can specifically use hashtags for hairdressers, you know, and find it that way. TikTok is a whole nother beast. Maybe I will do one. Fall semester is coming up. Maybe I did do a TikTok class, if you go back and look at all of the things, but all of the classes that I've done. But maybe another one is to be turning these on. I even suggest, not muted, like turn your notifications on. So let's go to just go to a friend that you have, that you love, that you want to turn it on. I'm going to use DTH. In the right corner, there is a little bell, and when you click on that, it'll ask you for notifications for posts, stories, reels, videos, broadcasts, and you can turn on and off what you want. So I highly suggest, if you're a salon owner, you should absolutely be turning these on. I even suggest maybe some of your clients turn on the notifications for your clients, because it's really great, especially if a client comes to you far and few, to like engage with their stuff, because out of sight, out of mind. Like, I've even had clients say, oh my God, I'm so glad you liked my story, because I need to get my hair done and you reminded me to book, like things like that. This has nothing to do with marketing, but just for mental health, I highly suggest that you really go through who you're following and unfollow a chunk of people. Like, I try to unfollow people every day because I have good things. Because when we're constantly, if you're scrolling through something